Welcome back to the show.
Down memory lane we go.
Never heard anyone in my life who's more insane than Paul Allen.
Stop it, stop it, stop it. Hell yes! You can put it on the board! Yes!
It's PA 9 to noon on the fan. 9 to noon.
Oh, my. Isn't that something? Oh, boy. That was just an ugly one. Wasn't that good?
And winter is coming.
Some Super Bowl slogans.
From slots and craps to confetti and claps.
For Super Bowl 59.
From losing the wild card to Las Vegas Boulevard.
Super Bowl slogans, you say?
Sailing the ship to storm the strip.
You never know. With 9 to noon in the air on this Thursday. Good morning. It's Paul Allen, Nordo produces. It is a Super Bowl slogan Thursday, and it could lead, think about it, it could lead to a State Fair t-shirt with a catchy phrase that spreads like wildfire. So this is an opportunity for you to jump into that talkback via the free iHeartRadio app. Find the microphone, you get 30 seconds, probably won't need it all. Or texting via 64686. Think about it. Billy, Johnny, Christy, Susie, Antoine, Tamika, everybody comes out to the State Fair. And then you go to the KFAN booth at Carousel Park in the shadow of the grandstand. Holy cow, that's right around the corner. And there's a slogan you created on July 11th, 2024. That's on a T-shirt. State Fair T-shirt with a catchy phrase, and maybe it spreads like metaphorical wildfire.
Kind of immortalized, right?
Yeah, it's T-shirt and phraseology immortality. And it's yours. You came up with the idea. So why are we late to this? All right, because we are late to this. The patented 9 to noon Super Bowl slogans.
Kirko takes his drip to the strip.
Why exactly are we late to this?
58th time's the charm.
Well, we have baby making.
From slots and craps to confetti and claps.
We have vocal maintenance days.
Vikings win in the city of sin.
And we have the Timberwolves.
Doing the griddy down in Sin City.
I mean, the Howl stretching as far as the Howl stretched. Just kind of had the mind waning when it comes to Super Bowl slogans for Super Bowl 59, and that's what it is. Free iHeartRadio app we will disperse some of the Super Bowl slogans during the course of 9 to noon. But about 35 minutes from now, about 9:47, we'll play back some of those talkbacks, and we will settle in on what we got here, Con. We got 10 right in front of me, right? You want 10?
Yeah, I think every year we've settled in ultimately on handing Big Voice Guy 10 to 12 options. There's 12 in front of you there, but 10 to 12 total options. You know, have you written any down yet?
Yes.
I've written some down.
Yeah, I got a couple down.
Would we
here.
Are we going to spark the imagination of the listeners? Like, okay, we're not putting all the creativity on you. Like,
right.
Let's get those juices flowing a little bit. I don't know if this is the right time to do it, but I have some if you have some.
It's Super Bowl 59. It's at the Superdome, which is in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So we'll start there. So you don't have to do the work. We'll do it for you. Super Bowl 59, Superdome, New Orleans. All righty. With the talkbacks and the 64686, what do you got? With Super Bowl 59 and New Orleans and Louisiana, few things I wrote down here just to maybe trigger the membranes to go the right way to aid that talkback machine. New Orleans, Louisiana, Superdome, and here they are. Mardi Gras, Bourbon Street, beads, jambalaya, above-ground cemeteries, saints who go marching in, crawdaddies, the French Quarter, Harry Connick Jr., Lil Wayne, Master P, Louis Armstrong, Reese Witherspoon, beignets, Café du Monde, the Crescent City, Praline, and Voodoo. So if what's so funny? What happened?
I know that you had fun writing that down. It did not take you long. You love the Crescent City. You love going antiquing. You love the above ground cemeteries.
How do you remember that? Holy cow. I haven't been to New Orleans in well over half a decade, and I do love the city of New Orleans, and I love the culture, and I do love the antique shops, and the above-ground cemeteries are just freaky as all bleep. And then, once you research outside of the French Quarter or outside of Bourbon Street or outside of Frenchman Street is my preference over Bourbon Street, you find some really cool, like, little nooks and crannies. Yeah. Specifically from a culinary standpoint.
Well, and the music off Bourbon Street's amazing, too.
It's unbelievable.
Bourbon Street, I get it, the 3-for-1 drinks, but it's 2-3 blocks off Bourbon Street,
right,
where you walk into some hotel lobby and some gal that should be winning American Idol is singing solo next to some dude at a piano.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing down there. But I was laughing just because I know, the antiquing thing's going to stick with me forever. That was an odd nugget that I received from you years ago.
Yeah.
The story you told me about the late Dark Star, I believe that was in New Orleans.
Oh, wow. Dr. Howard Brown I'm Dr. So-and-so Brown when somebody is having a heart attack, and Dark Star, God rest his soul, pretended Herman Brown. Dr. Herman Brown. I'm Dr. Herman Brown. Everybody stand off to the side. This individual's under coronary attack right now, and I'm Dr. Herman Brown. Then all of a sudden, the real doctors and EMTs got there, and he's like, down Bourbon Street I go.
It disappeared into the mist.
He's in the back of but then it was the $1,000 antique table that was sent to Patrick Royce's house, is I believe how the story goes, is they were so indebted to Dr. Herman Brown. I'm Dr. Herman Brown. Everybody please stand to the side. This man needs air. And so he was concerned that the metaphorical jig would be up. So when they're like, we want to send you something, what do you want? Well, this coffee table here looks really nice. Here's the address, whatever. And it ended up at Patrick Royce's house just in case there was some flim-flam track on it. And that transpired in New Orleans at an antique shop. Very good memory. So
Dark Star not only pretended to be a doctor and medical professional during an emergency, gets out of that okay, by the way.
Yes.
He then ultimately gives people Patrick Royce's home address.
That's unbelievable.
Where they received an antique table.
That's absolutely unbelievable.
So while you were thinking about beignets and Frenchman Street, Crescent City, I got stuck on NOLA. And thanks to everybody. We get a ton of text messages coming in.
Oh, good.
But it's like, grease the polls with canola because we're winning down in NOLA. Or this one, this is a filling trophy rooms amidst above ground tombs. Or win the title in NOLA, then stay for Mardi Gras areola.
Hey.
But the text messages are just absolutely pouring in with ideas furiously.
Yeah, and if your name's not included in the text, because I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, that's the key to this. We would like, most of them do not have names, so we would like you to
credit you.
To give you credit. I mean, there will be, ultimately, there's no compensation for this. The compensation is the immortality of potentially being on a shirt and hearing big voice guys say your bit over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. So again, Super Bowl 59, play off that. Superdome, Nolans, Mardi Gras, Bourbon Street, beads, jambalaya, Hotel Monteleone, above ground cemeteries, saints who go marching in, Crawdaddies, The French Quarter, Harry Connick Jr., Lil Wayne, Master P, Louis Armstrong, Reese Witherspoon, Beignets, Cafe Du Monde, The Crescent City, Praline, and Voodoo. I came up with what I feel is a very clever one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Mission Mardi Gras.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
I think it's perfect. It's succinct. It's to the point.
Mission Mardi Gras.
No need for innuendo.
Yeah,
I think
we've never had it
perfect.
We've never had it before either, right? I mean, it's just like Mission Miami. It's brand new. Mission Mardi Gras could be a T-shirt.
Mission Minneapolis.
Yeah, Mission. Right. Mission Mardi Gras. Let's go back and forth. What do you have?
Well, we're staying with NOLA. To Pensacola, to Espanola, even Angola. Tell the world we've conquered NOLA.
Okay. I mean, that's amazing. Ain't going to fit on a T-shirt.
No, it's not.
But
smaller type.
Say the whole thing again.
To Pensacola, to Espanola, even Angola. Tell the world we've conquered NOLA.
I'm in. I got a new one. Ready?
Yeah.
59th times the charm.
I always love that one.
I think we did have that as a T-shirt 6-7 years ago.
I think this is like my 26th or 7th year doing radio shows at KFAN, which means 49, 39, 34th times the charm, 35th times the charm, 48th times the charm.
I always love that one.
59th times the charm. What you got?
How about sipping cola, playing the viola, and winning the trophy down in NOLA?
Viola. What's a viola?
It's a woodwind. Yeah, you play with a bow.
It's not viola?
I think it's viola.
The picture was viola.
It's with a bow.
Yeah.
I think it's like an
viola.
alto. It's a little bit deeper version than a violin.
Say it again.
Sipping cola, playing the viola, and winning the trophy down in NOLA.
And he's loose!
All right, here's another one I have. All righty. 59th time is the charm. How many do you have?
I only have a couple of more. All of these, if you heard, are super lame. So I just wanted to get the areola bit out there, to be honest with you.
Here's my third. Why? Because Quasey's playing fast.
The GM is Quasey. The GM is Quasey.
Hey.
The GM is Quasey.
Who believes?
I believe.
Alas, we have more.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Why? Because Quasey's playing fast.
The GM is Quasey.
What else?
Well,
Okay, so all right, let's be serious for a second.
yeah, okay. Feeling Divine, Super Bowl 59.
Ooh. Feeling Divine, Super Bowl 59. That could be a keeper. I think Mission Mardi Gras could be a keeper.
Mission Mardi Gras is in for sure.
That's in for sure. 59th times the charm.
When is Mardi Gras? It's after the Super Bowl, right? It's like March or something?
What do I look like? Harry Connick Jr.? Who do I look like? Emerald Lagasse? 59th times the charm has, that could play. Why? Because Quasey's playing fast. Here's another one. Alrighty. Au revoir, empty trophy case. Bonjour, Valhalla.
You lucky suckers.
What do you think?
It's not bad.
Au revoir, empty trophy case. Bonjour, Vikings heaven, which is Valhalla.
I like that. Actually, that reminds me, you had a walk-off call. Was that...
Playoffs.
Yes, it was.
Second time I used it down there. The first time was the GM is, hey. When did we beat New Orleans? Burke with the low snap. Dante saved it. Faked like he was
the
going to
2-point
drop.
bit?
Thank you.
Was that 06 maybe?
Snap day, 17-game road losing streak, I believe. It was 02. It was Vikings New Orleans very late in the season, 2002, I believe. And Dante bailed out Burke, sneaked in for the deuce, And I went. You had to peel me off the ceiling. It was 02. It was my first year. Every single call had to be peeled off the ceiling. Or au revoir. What was it? It was au revoir. Au revoir. New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, it was bonjour something.
Yeah.
Au revoir, New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, and that's that's the same game. Or the next time we were at New Orleans, where what did I call the city? What's New Orleans called? It's
Crescent City.
Crescent City. No, it's the
Bayou.
Big Easy.
Big Easy.
It's I think it was a Monday night game, and I think I had a rough Sunday night for whatever the reason, and I was like, boom. And Vikings football is in the air from the Big Sleazy. Mr. Marketing Man asked me to never do that again. Now with that Big Sleazy.
Getting greasy in the Big Easy.
All right, so, and feelings are not hurt a lick if you look at it, or the public looks at it as a 1, as a 5, or as a 9. Au revoir, empty trophy case. Bonjour, Valhalla.
Well, I like the Valhalla vibe. I think it's kind of a 2 overall, to be honest with you.
Do you have another one?
No, I'm out, man.
Okay. How about this? JJ to JJ for the beignet. JJ to JJ for the big beignet.
Amen, brother.
I like beignets.
Yep.
I could eat. We need something with jambalaya in the mix.
Another one. Just once in my life, please.
I always love that one.
Just once in our lives, please.
I always love that.
That's too depressing. That's not 9 to noon style.
Oh, really? Losing or never winning a Super Bowl through 6 decades is not depressing?
Okay, but you know what? Every year we pick ourselves up off the mat.
Mm-hmm.
We shake ourselves off, get the dirt off, we dust it off of our shoulders, and we press on.
Just once in our lives. Just once in my lifetime, please. Yeah. Or just once in our lives, please. And then it would be up to the creative staff. All right, 3-2. It would be up to us to, brand it or stamp it as a Super Bowl 59 T-shirt. What else rolling in?
That is how I feel following every season. There's no doubt.
What else is rolling in over there?
Well, Dan in Minneapolis, I like this. And actually, two different, all these are different versions of them. Jay from Fargo and Dan in Minneapolis. From voodoo to Valhalla.
I like that.
Conquering the voodoo in the bayou.
Conquering the voodoo in the bayou. That could play. This might be tough for you and Big Voice Guy.
Doing the Griddy in the Crescent City.
Yes. Have we had that? Has the Super Bowl been in New Orleans since Justin Jefferson has been in the National Football League?
I don't think so.
I like that. What was the?
Because we've done Doing the Griddy down in Cardinal City. We did that when it was in Arizona.
Right.
We did Doing the Griddy in Sin City. Right. Obviously last year in Las Vegas.
Right.
Feeling less queasy after the win in Big Easy.
Feeling less queasy after the win. Nope. Too wordy.
Super Bowl, homeboy.
In.
There we go.
That's why I like Mission Mardi Gras and 59th Times the Charm. That's why those are so good. Because they're simplistic. Everybody can get it. And my man just dropped a Super Bowl homeboy, which...
Super Bowl homeboy.
That's Randy Moss immortality. So I'm in on that one.
All right. How about Mission Complete on Bourbon Street?
Yes. It hit me. Do you like it?
I like it.
Mission Complete on Bourbon Street.
I feel you.
How about Eric in Brooklyn Center? Celebrating in the streets in front of the cheats.
I love how intense you guys are about your Vikings.
Oh, that's so sweet. The anti-Vikes.
It's a long year. Everybody just relax. It's going to be all right.
The Vikes go marching in.
And when the Vikes go marching in, oh, when the Vikes go marching in, I hope to cash on the right number.
I like this. Jason and Nisswa. JJ's on fire to jambalaya.
From JJ, so F.
Yeah, on fire, but fire.
R-A-H. So say it again.
From JJ's on fire, like fire, but fire, to jambalaya.
It reminds me of one of my favorite moments at Superdome in New Orleans involving Minnesota Vikings football. And it was this.
You got too many men out there. No.
Now, I don't know if they do this at like WXYZ in the Motor City Davy, but when it comes to the Super Bowl, and given today is Super Bowl slogan day in the 9 to noon neighborhood, the neighborhood is FM 100.3 KFAN, specifically the 651 Carpets Plus Studios. Given 3-2, given today is Super Bowl slogan day, we will have a Super Bowl low-key theme to the 9 to noon presentation, including rattling through the top 10 odds for teams to win the Super Bowl. We'll go 10-1 in the middle hour, and we will analyze said chances. And when 9 to noon, or at least yours truly, think Super Bowl, I mean, it's like I'm on the Lions' jock a little bit, and I'm not predicting they are absolutely going to the Super Bowl, but they are feeling awfully good about themselves, and rightfully so. I mean, quite honestly, the 49ers, when you think back to the postseason last year, the San Francisco 49ers, they were on a little bit of borrowed time. Jordan Love rolls in there and goes combo Favre/Rodgers on it until he goes a combo of Brett and Favre on it, going out of body at the end of the game and throwing the whole thing away. But LaFleur might have had him beat, and Campbell had him beat. Dan Campbell had him beat, and then they messed it up. So the Lions are feeling awfully good about themselves. Who are they, in case you forgot? Who have they added who should help? We got 6 minutes left in this mug. You can do this now, or maybe look it up for later if you want, just to trip the memory on who they, I know they added DJ Reader. All right, he's coming off an injury, took a fat L in the Vikings game at Cincinnati. It cost him probably millions of dollars in free agency, but nevertheless, this is a Super Bowl type 3 technique defensive tackle. He's played in the Super Bowl, and I know they added DJ Reader. So the Lions, it's the Lions. Who have they added, and who should help? And what kind of a season? Well, just think about this if you want to get a little queasy. What kind of a season is that? Because they revolutionized some things last year a little bit with the way they did some things with their tailbacks. What kind of a season is that Montgomery Gibbs monster tandem sitting on?
Oh my gosh.
The artist formerly known as the Sled Dog, David Montgomery, resurrected his career, and Jahmyr Gibbs is a badass. He's into his second year. So, with the Lions and the Super Bowl and odds and Mission Mardi Gras and all that kind of stuff, what Gibbs and Montgomery, that's a monster tandem. How much, if any, will it be better than last year? Aiden Hutchinson, my man, busting ass off the right edge as a defensive end, the Michigander. He absolutely can be part of a coveted MV3. All right, so if you want to determine what their MV3 is, if you got to have an MV3, which we believe you do, Hutchinson's in it, Amon-Ra St. Brown is in it, Jared Goff might be in it, Penei Sewell might be in it, my man Sam Laporta might be in it, you got one of these beastly backs who might be in it, and so on and so on. So Aiden Hutchinson is in the MV3, he's the M. He's first and foremost. And he was on a radio station recently, and he said, speaking of Mission Mardi Gras, I feel like it's the year, Hutchinson told Brad Galley of WXYZ. XYZ. With every fiber of my body, I feel like it's the year. Honestly, from this year on, every year is the year. With the guys that we have, I hope that we're going to sustain the success for a long time. So the M in the MV3 thinks it's the Lions year for Mission Mardi Gras, and if it's 59 times the charm here, what is it there? It's whatever time is the charm for the Motor City Kitties. But he feels like it's the year. And when Aiden Hutchinson says something like that with a team like that, it's not exactly, it's Cam Bynum laid it out beautifully within the last month, where he's like, everybody's talking about lofty expectations and winning the division and getting to the playoffs and Mission Mardi Gras and winning the whole thing. But realistically speaking, I mean, it's some teams can get there, some teams can't. The Lions absolutely can. And the Lions appear to share Hutchinson's view of the future after signing quarterback Jared Goff, wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, tackle Penei Sewell. They signed them all to extensions this offseason. So what they did is they locked up their MV3 for years to come. Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Penei Sewell. Well, somebody's going to get bumped out of that mug when Hutchinson gets his new money, because he's up for a new deal of his own, and that's relatively soon. And quite honestly, another winning season is going to continue to have the Lions feeling really good about getting that old band back together.
Hardcore football.
How daunting are they for the now and the immediate future? And you happen to have any roster ads, or like who they drafted? Can you remember who they drafted?
It's Terrion Arnold, that corner out of Alabama, I think. Right. That was their big first-round pick. Yes. I don't have their entire draft in front of me.
Everybody loves them.
But adding Marcus Davenport, we know that from a local standpoint, and just getting better. Kirby Joseph has been in the news recently because he got hurt, and now he's feeling good. He's ready to rock the place, another year in the league. Hope he doesn't take out any more knees like he did with our guy Hawkinson and Tyler Higbee last year.
That's right.
But other than that, I mean, Brian Branch, another year in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Mahogany, remember talking about him? Lineman of the day, pre-draft. They got him.
Yeah, pickle at the nickel.
Did they add Kevin Zeitler this offseason, or was he on the team last year at right tackle? So they got Zeitler, Ragnow. They re-upped Graham Glasgow.
Okay.
They still have Taylor Decker, of course, on the left side.
Okay, now you're starting to ruin a good mood, because this is a very, very nice football team. Don't you agree?
Well, it's awesome. So, Jack Campbell off the rookie year. He's into year 2. They also added... Yep. Speaking of that, they draft Terrion Arnold, and not that, I mean, this isn't lockdown Revis Island type stuff, but Carlton Davis, a good man corner, good physical guy down in Tampa. He's going to be up in Detroit now.
Mm-hmm.
So
they ain't messing around.
No, they're not. DJ Reader.
Yeah, they ain't messing around.
No, they're this is an all-in situation where, and you have a team, by the way, when you speak of great teams that kind of, they emulate, they have identities. Who looks more reminiscent of the identity of their coach and the way that they play, whether it's Montgomery and Gibbs now, I mean, as good as he was, had that tough fumble in the playoffs, but he's a badass player, to the defense and Hutchinson and what they're doing. Defense was their problem last year. On paper, they look like they got much better there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when we talk about those teams that top 10 odds to win a Super Bowl, the Kitties are 100% in that mix.
I mean, if it's play action to Jahmyr Gibbs, you're probably not doubling Amon-Ra St. Brown. And just when you get all wrapped up on Amon-Ra St. Brown or Sam Laporta, well, there goes Gibbs and or Montgomery. I mean, that offense, the scenario.
I mean, pick your poison with that defense.
It's 9 to noon on a Thursday, Super Bowl slogan Thursday. Good morning.
Doing the Griddy down in Sin City.
What about this? I'd contract Ebola just to get to NOLA.
The Purple Crush with a royal flush.
I mean, it's...
Well done, Maury.
But it's funny, Is it fire?
Can you put that on a T-shirt?
Ooh, fire. Ooh, I found a fire sounder. 9 to noon's on fire. The free iHeartRadio talkback for the Super Bowl slogans. We do want to play some back during the course of the show, or the 64686, as if you don't text enough, please text us. And Nordo produces. I'm Paul Allen. All of that is courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com, a decking company that is on fire. If you need a new deck or you want some free samples to figure out what the composite decking is, TimberTech.com providing what's on deck 9 to noon, and Nordo offering up that cash thing. Good morning from us.
The Fan, good morning, and the Fan and BigTech.com want to give you a chance to put $1,000 in your hand with the National Cash Contest. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword bank. You might put $1,000 in the bank by using the keyword bank at KFAN.com.
Does it better? The Fan.
Vikes Bites coming up now. It's 9:33. We'll play back some talkbacks with some Super Bowl slogans around the corner. Denard Span, former Twins center fielder. He's calling Minnesota Twins baseball games. For those of you who can watch him on TV, that would not include me. He's calling Twins games from San Francisco. So the Twins have a series against the Gigantes into the All-Star break, and we got a pretty good baseball team. With a doubleheader yesterday, they got a split, eking one out in game number 2. And D-Span, this is D-Span, joins us about 11 o'clock. And at 11:40, Bridget Carlton, a sharp-shooting forward for Cheryl Reeves' Minnesota Lynx. She's going to be calling us from the Cappuccino Capital. She's an Olympian representing the Canadian Olympic team. And every time I watch Bridget Carlton play, I just really, really love how she pulls up for those threes. And she's tenacious and super positive. So we'll get a chance to meet her on the radio today. That's all coming up later. But for now, Vikes Bites.
Vikes Bites, brought to you by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef. Go to thousandhillslifetimegrazed.com. You can shop there, of course. Big box of meat shows up at your doorstep. That's pretty awesome. Or Coburn's, co-op locations, etc. And they support local athletes, Dinkytown Athletics. And they're from Clearwater, Minnesota. So Matt and everybody up there, terrific work. Thank you, Thousand Hills. And I want to start here. Cam Bynum, we talked about him yesterday, thinking about just how this defense was going to kind of shape together. And Cam Bynum has really brought himself into the conversation of leadership. He's also in the final year of his contract, PA. So, the effort to keep Josh Metellus in the mix, and this isn't the type of conversation that the Dallas Cowboys are having with Micah Parsons or with CeeDee Lamb by any stretch of the imagination. But he's entering the final year of his deal. And I guess my question to you is how vital is it as this team moves forward that Cam Bynum is a part of that conversation? 5 year will be 5 years into the league here and what he's brought to the team.
That's a terrific question, and one, quite honestly, I hadn't thought about when it comes to stacking the deals that are forthcoming, because Florio becomes, we all become to a certain extent concerned with all right, 3-2. We all are kind of laying in waiting for the Justin Jefferson deal. Okay, it happened. Now, Christian Darrisaw apparently will be next. You can't let a left tackle like that leave the building and never come back. And just moving forward, you're going to have some deals that, like say Aaron Jones. Say Aaron Jones has an unbelievable year, plays 14 of the 17, 15 of the 17. My man's on a 1-7 now. I can already start feeling the mid-January, late January. Oh, wait. Let's say mid-February.
Vikings win in the city of sin.
Because the conversation would take place after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
About what's next for Showtime. Showtime. So that's like off on the side, though. But Bynum, he plays almost every play.
Yeah.
And he plays downhill very fast. So Cameron, he diagnoses the plays beautifully. You can tell he's a scholar of the game. And he has that cornerback pedigree from Cal where when he goes on the retreat or when he's covering somebody, it's pretty good for a safety. Now, we've had a couple of issues where if the vertical is 34 inches, we probably needed it to be 38 inches a couple of times, like that Kansas City game, where he leapt and my man caught that big pass relatively late in the game. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Justin Watson who caught that. So, whatever. We can put ankle weights on and work on the vertical. But Cam Bynum is requisite of a player this team would want to keep, I believe. And that would require a new deal. What kind of a deal? I got no idea. Is this Harrison Smith's last year? If Harry departs, then you need Cam more than you probably think you need Cam right now. Excellent question. So like the money or the when, I got no idea, but certainly hope he sticks around for years to come.
Vikes Bites. Thank you, Thousand Hills. So the receiver, that special that came out on Netflix, and Justin Jefferson, certainly a big part of that. We talked about it yesterday. It was released yesterday.
I watched 2 episodes last evening. I had forgotten with the Netflix bit, like when it drops, you can watch them all.
Yeah, you can binge the whole thing.
Yeah, so I'm like, cool, I'm just going to be able to watch episode 1, so I'm thinking like HBO Hard Knocks.
Right.
Where, okay, I missed it, and, go back to the HBO Plus or whatever it's called, or just wait for the next one to come on. So I watched the first one. Pretty cool how they started off with Peyton Manning, and then Randy Moss was like, this is about, did you see it?
Well, I've heard the audio of the open, yeah.
Yeah, this is about receivers. This isn't about quarterbacks. That was a nice little segue that they did. It was pretty clever. And I thought the first 2 episodes were pretty good. I recognized, at least for my taste in the relatively early stages, there's going to be comparing to quarterback.
Sure.
And, it was a quarterback or quarterbacks?
Quarterbacks. Or quarterback.
Yeah. All right, 3-2. That was the first of its kind. And, it's going to bite people in a different way than the second of its kind. So, I had to, it's like I'm watching George Kittle and his wife and their family going to the games. Amon-Ra St. Brown, his father, the former bodybuilder. Justin and his jewelry, Debo Samuel and what Kyle Shanahan was saying about him, and so on and so on. And Devontae Adams got a lot of run in the first 2 episodes. Devontae's cool. And he busted up his AC joint in a game, I believe, at the Chargers, was sitting in the tunnel, just negative, and then came back out and played. Just some things he said were really cool. So I liked it, but it's like I came into it being like, all right, maybe it's because Cuz Buzz was one of us. And it's like, people had opinions of him, and then they saw it, and they loved his wife and his family life and everything. And that kind of stole the show. So I guess I came into it looking for like a show stealer very early, which I shouldn't have, because it's a different type of show. But through 2 episodes, I dig it.
Well, I think what's interesting, too, is in this dynamic, they picked everybody in this show is kind of already nationally known as being a big timer, where in quarterback, there was a little bit, they did the top of the top, of course, with Mahomes. Then they just opened this door that showed all kinds of different stuff with our guy.
Right.
And then it was Marcus Mariota, where he's former top pick.
That's
hasn't
right.
worked out with Tennessee, et cetera. Now he's on the grind to make plays with Atlanta.
Yeah.
Ultimately gets benched, I believe, for Desmond Ridder. But as part of this, some audio emerged from one of the episodes, and it's Kevin O'Connell after week 2. Week 2, of course, is Philly. Week 2 is another day of turnovers, another day of self-inflicted wounds. JJ at the pylon. I think it was Brandon Powell on the big return, just coughing the thing up. Madison, I believe, turned it over.
The pylon bit was big. And if you haven't seen it yet, I apologize. I'm not going to share everything. But the pylon bit was big in receivers.
Yep.
And I guess, maybe we talked about it. Maybe there's like a story on it or something. I guess I had forgotten how hard Justin Jefferson took that.
Yeah, he was crushed.
I mean, he was crushed on the sideline.
And it was a terrible moment in the game.
And it was awful. And like the footage of him leaving the locker room and O'Connell talking to him. And I mean, it absolutely, up and down the sidelines. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. I'm sorry. He's apologizing to everybody. It was unbelievable.
So I have some audio following the Philly game from Kevin O'Connell, his locker room conversation with the players after the game.
We're 0-2. We've lost by a combined 9 points. And we've lost the turnover battle 7-1. When we talk about it's all about the ball, it's got to mean something to you.
Hey.
Everything inside you. That's just purely holding the organization in your hands and not caring enough. We've got the leadership in this room to fix it. And we're going to get this shit right. And we're going to start rolling like a freight train. You guys with me?
Yes, sir.
So that's his post-game talker with the team afterwards.
Yeah.
And kind of the common refrain that I saw via social media was, I didn't know KOC had that in him. Did you? Through 2 years and just kind of knowing where things lie with him. And he's as much of a cheerleader as anybody on the sidelines, despite, of course, handling head coach duties. But I think a lot of people's eyes were opened a bit. That CKOC on this, he's slapping hands, he's jumping up and down, he's fist pumping, doing the whole thing. and he kind of just dumped a wheelbarrow of bricks on people after the Philly game.
Okay, everybody associated with said squad listening right now, we need a FIVA, Fairness and Vox Act, with a wisecrack that's coming up right now. All right, 3-2. It's kind of a wisecrack. It's like I'm 10% serious here, 90% just busting loose with one. The answer would be yes, because I've seen him around former quarterbacks coach Chris O'Hara and Grant Udinsky, who was the guy to work with the quarterbacks after practice on Fridays.
I always love that one.
And those guys, well, now Josh McCown's the quarterbacks coach, and Chris, I believe, is the passing game coordinator. And Udinsky, I think, assistant quarterbacks coach. But O'Hara and Udinsky do a ton for Kevin O'Connell and his offense. And I mean, sometimes people get tired. Sometimes people can be moody. Sometimes it ain't going the right way, or at least perceived not to go the right way. So I quite honestly, in however long I've worked with or been next to Kevin, I can't say I've ever seen him yell like that.
Right.
And for people who are going to watch Receiver on Netflix, the way they did that, what you just played, was masterful. Because the Omaha Productions bit, NFL Films bit, whatever it is, they are going to have a camera with microphones in the locker room.
Yep.
But this is not from in the locker room. But you can see just a little, you can see something through the crack of two doors with, like when you watch O'Connell following victories with the locker room thing that Vikings.com puts out. I think he walks back and forth. He like goes back and forth to people, and you just see a purple shirt through the crack of two doors, like going to the right.
Yeah.
And then going to the left, and then going to the right. And then it's just him going.
And then hearing that audio.
Right. So,
wow.
Yeah, in other words, they probably have footage of it. But at the end of the equation, I'd be shocked if the teams don't get to watch this before it comes out. So in other words, if it's like, okay, well, yeah, you can keep the audio. No, we ain't showing that video.
Right.
I'm just guessing with that.
No, but it takes me back. And last year was dominated so much by the conversation after Kirk tears his Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
But just remember the start to that season, man. 13-4. Yeah, we ended 22 on a 4th and 8 check down. Totally get it. But you're rolling out of the gates. You turn the ball over 3 times against Tampa and still have a chance to win. You lose that game.
Yep.
You turn it over 4 times in Philly. You lose. Head coach freaks out. The next week, again, as I mentioned it maybe earlier in the week, you run Madison 5 times, 2 yards, 13 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards, 2 yards. You're in field goal position your first time with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then on 3rd and 8, Kirk fires a dart to Hawkinson, first down, and then it's ripped out of his arms.
No, it's not.
The very first possession.
You got to stop that, everybody.
We were doing that week after week last year before Kirk tears his Achilles, looking at the turnovers and the first possession turnovers. Josh Oliver fumbling on the first time with the ball against the Chiefs, stuff like that. Like the head coach, maybe he didn't know he had that in him. It was brought out of him by the absolute ineptitude of ball security with this team. So cool moments to come. I'm going to jump on it and play some catch up and eventually watch all the episodes as well. But by all accounts, I mean, JJ said it himself. Last year, nobody knew that people were following Kirk as part of the quarterback series.
Yeah.
So it's similar to like Hard Knocks, where I think there's with anything, cameras in draft rooms on draft day, things like that. The knowledge of a camera being present, I think inherently and unavoidably adds a performative nature to what you see.
With some.
But in the end, still getting those types of bits, I think, is still organic. It's so real. And super entertaining.
This is 9 to noon. Those were Vikes Bites, and they happen to be provided by
Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef.
Welcome to the presentation.
P.A.
Let's hit the talkback machine around the corner and see what y'all got up your sleeve.
Talkback machine, free iHeartRadio app. Also have some great text messages as well. Super Bowl slogans. And I'd like to play courtesy of the Talkback machine, free iHeartRadio app. Hit that microphone. Give us up to your best 30 seconds. Here's some slogans from the Talkbacks.
Mission Super Bowler, down in NOLA. Get some.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mission Super Bowl down in NOLA. What about this one here?
By any means, down in New Orleans. This is Mitch from St. Paul.
Hi, Mitch.
Thank you,
Get
Mitchell.
it.
Oh, okay.
By any means, down in New Orleans. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Any means. Okay. What about this one?
Let's just keep it simple. Clomp to the swamp. Or clomp to the swamp.
Is that big voice guy, by the way?
Clomp to the swamp.
He had a little
Let's
baritone
just
to
keep
him.
it simple. Clomp to the swamp. Or clomp to the swamp.
That's a nice deep voice right there.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Okay, let's check this one out.
Hi, this is Cole from Mandan, North Dakota.
Hey,
and my slogan is, from all bad to crawdad.
I always love that one.
Okay.
I love that.
And then I got one more as well via the talkback machine. These are free, by the way. Send them in. We'll continue to sprinkle them in throughout the show.
This is Mike G. from Vadnais Heights. I have two of them that are pretty similar. Bringing it home from the Superdome. Or winning the Chrome in the Superdome.
I like the first one. Oh, and by the way, the Super Bowl trophy is the Lombardi. So, I mean, it's a party city, or at least it's identifiable that way. So, like party, Lombardi, something like that.
So, some text messages, Dan and Edina, from the bank to the Benz. Now, that's why I asked you to verify during last break, PA.
Yeah.
Is I believe it's the Caesars Superdome now.
Yeah. Mercedes-Benz clearly got bored with the cheating.
Yeah.
And they were out. And then Caesars is like, no, we're cool with cheating. We'll come in.
So it could be win one for the geezers down at Caesars. If you were so inclined.
The geezers pigeonholing or narrowcasting a large group of Vikings fans.
Correct.
The ones that are like, I've season tickets for 50 years, or I've been waiting for this thing.
Well, once in my life, it kind of plays off of what you were doing in the open, right?
Yeah, just once. Just once.
Just once, please.
You think about that T-shirt and what you see on the shirt, and you think it and or read it or blurt it or repeat it with a gasp. It's just once in my lifetime.
I've been putting my game-worn Todd Stussy jersey on for 20 years and lying to myself in the mirror every Sunday morning since I was a child.
It'd be so sweet.
Just once.
If somebody had game-worn jerseys from like every decade. So I got my game-worn Fran the Man on the Fan.
Yeah.
And move forward. Game-worn Marshall, game-worn Eller, game-worn Bursich, game-worn Lieber, game-worn Favre, game-worn Stussy, game-worn Cuzbuzz. And like through all of that, there could be a really, really good picture taken if they're able to have a party with the Lombardi.
What about this? This is kind of simple. The French Conquest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we should have done is
Conquest.
When the Saints won their Super Bowl, I guess that could have been called truly the Louisiana Purchase.
Right.
But
that's brilliant. Did you come up with that or Gravy Train it?
No, that was top ahead.
That was brilliant.
Breaking the levees to bring home the big heavy. We don't want to break the levees.
See, and I'm glad somebody took that lowercase L and I didn't, because I wrote a couple last night where I'm
Levy was in the mix.
Yeah, I mean it's too many people are going to think you're making light of Hurricane Katrina.
Correct.
So I just left them out of the mix.
And it was tough to rhyme with the Ninth Ward, so that was also part of the problem.
J Ward meets the Ninth Ward.
The Purple People, I'm seeing this is a common theme. Mailman Mark in Brooklyn Park. Purple People Eaters crowned in the home of Dem Cheaters.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate in the streets in front of the cheats. I did that one. This is pretty simple. Battle on Bourbon Street.
I love that. Yeah, it's Mission Mardi Gras. 59th time is the charm. What was the most recent one?
Battle on Bourbon Street.
I'm not mad at that one either. I think that's pretty cool.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Not bad.
New Orleans is the worst, but the place we win our first.
I always love that one.
And
Bayou Bound.
Yeah, I like that. It doesn't. It's because it's not like the coronation of a champion. It's the coronation of a birth in the Super Bowl. Bayou Bound.
Now, I don't. I don't know why this one kind of just makes me laugh, but it's Seth in Brooklyn Park.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell is Marty? We want the Lombardi.
Love it.
Or we don't care about Marty. We want the Lombardi. I kind of dig that.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. And I think we need like 12. I'm not sure if any of these are going to be deemed fair T-shirt worthy, but I think we got a couple of candidates up in that thing, especially the 18-word one that had Espanola and Angola.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was great. We just need small print.
Pensacola. I mean, it's Panhandle.
It's almost 10 o'clock. And we have a Super Bowl bent today because of these Super Bowl slogans. And involving the odds for the teams to win the Super Bowl. We will get into that and chat about those teams when 9 to noon continues into the middle part of the presentation on a beautiful Thursday in the neighborhood. It's KFAN.